Welcome to this episode. Today I have Troy Hoffman. He is a longtime entrepreneur, a founder of everything. Troy, go ahead and do introduction for yourself. Tell us your day-to-day role and one of your passions in life.
So my name's Troy Hoffman. My day-to-day role is really working in about 40 different companies right now, helping out. The main one right now is founders. I'm kind of really helping scale. And then we're kind of jumping in different companies at different times to really help them scale to prepare for exit. I'm in a role of a couple boards. And so my schedule's really all over the place right now. So keep going, Brent.
Yeah, what was your passion? What do you have that you do outside of being on 40 different companies?
Passion. You know what? It's kind of interesting. I went over this recently. I really discovered like I really like serving people. Like I've been involved in really helping people since I was a kid. We built a youth church from 12 kids to 800 kids showing up on a Wednesday night when I was younger. We've done a lot of like give back stuff. We help a lot of different nonprofits. We have a 6-story children's hospital in Africa and Kenya, outside of Kenya. And we work with a lot. I mean, there's just a lot of programs like that. And I think it's really my main thing is helping leaders be kind of a leader of leaders, but support them from behind. Like I don't need to be in front of them, kind of from behind, where like the secret person they can call when life's challenging and when they need real help and they really want someone to help give them real guidance and really help pour into them. And I think that's kind of my passion, really helping a lot of people if I make money out of it or not. And I've been doing that for many decades now. So I think that's really my passion. On the side, like we'll go e-foiling, we'll go wakeboarding, we'll go surfing a lot. When we have time, spent about a couple weeks snowboarding. Every year we're going to Colorado and try different places up there. I'm about to say breaks, but they're not breaks, so different mountains we'll try. So this year we did Keystone and Breckenridge, and then we just did Park City up there, and there's been no snow, so it's all fake blown snow in up there. So that's kind of and then we'll just kind of hang out with the kids and Elena and the wife whenever I can.
Yeah, that's awesome. And well, before we get into content, we're going to talk a little bit about EO, YPO. We'll talk a little bit about some of that, but more about being in the middle of it. Before we do that, I'm going to tell you a joke. All you have to do is give me a rating 8 through 13.
Yes.
It's called the Free Joke Project. So here we go.
Okay.
If you ever get locked out of your house, talk to your lock calmly because communication is the key.
I don't know on this one.
I got to say something.
Know on this one.
Give it a 13. That was pretty good. You got to talk to your lock calmly. Communication is the key. It's your lock, and talking calmly, that's a good way to communicate.
Yes.
It's not funny.
I'm so terrible at these jokes. I'm so bad.
Right.
I don't think I can't tell a single joke. It was just there. And I've got some really good friends that are actually pretty decent sized comedians now. And I was like, man, how do you come up with this stuff? I can't come up with anything. Always a boring one, so.
I got an easy one. How do you find Will Smith in a snowstorm? Look for the Fresh Prince.
That's a 13. That's a good one. Right. That's a good dad joke.
All right, good. All right, well, so now we've set our stage good. Now we're set up for success.
That's too funny. That's funny.
So we in the green room, we kind of talked about EO and what it means in EO, and getting into EO, you're probably profitable to get to the $1 million mark, and hopefully, but a lot of EOers don't get into that spot where either you enter a company halfway and you end up burning a lot of money and kind of dealing with some of that. And then hopefully they do want to exit. But talk a little bit about that sort of midpoint that maybe a lot of entrepreneurs don't enter into unless you're in the maybe VC space, and in the VC is saying, here's your runway, you have $100 million to burn and hopefully be profitable in 5 years.
Well, when I answer it this way, right? I think you go through stages, right? And here's what they don't teach in EO. Well, first, a lot of EO is just how do I get my company going? How do I keep my life together? How do I get my company to grow and like me not be working 80 hours a week? That's kind of a lot of EO. How do I apply mastering the Rockefeller habits? How do I apply scaling up? How do I get my management team built? How do I build the HR systems? How do I build all my marketing, my sales, my processes? How do I get all that documentation? How do I build my compensation plan? What type of compensation plan should I have? And you're kind of learning. That's a lot of EO world. The next thing after that is what I call this exit prep world, right? And also focusing on the business plan, and the exit promised land is the 3 categories we teach in founders right now. Because one is you really have to double down on the businessman. You got to increase your education 10x. You got to increase the application of the education 10x. You've got to increase your focus in clearing the emotional triggers and clearing any baggage and clearing anything that's holding you back from the clear vision and accomplishing the one clear signal that you're going after, the one clear goal, the one clear vision, and clearing all the noise so the company can grow and you can finally exit the company one day. And make sure that your estate plan, your tax plan, your team plan, your company plan, and your re-entry plan are all in alignment, right? And I think that's one of the things no one's teaching in EO. By the time guys exit, they're on boats in the Caribbean. They're living in Hawaii with you. You know what I mean? They're just chilling. And it's not a lot of money in doing this coaching thing. People want to do it and they want to help, but it's not a lot of money in it. And so compared to running a company where you're trading your time for dollars and all training, you're having dollars come in and with very little time. And then next thing you know, you're working one day a year and making millions a year. That's leverage. That's what you want from a company. You want to end up working one day a year. There's a book that every entrepreneur in EO should read by another EO member and old but YPO member. His name's Scott Fritz. If you guys haven't read this book, The 40-Hour Work Year, I would buy it. I would read it. I would devour it along with Scaling Up, Master the Rocketing Peller Habits. These are all the must reads and must applies, right? But when you're going through this process and you exit, right? Well, there's a way of then you want to go involve yourself with other companies. And one of the guys, this guy John, he's an XEO or two, he has a house on Mosquito Island, which is Richard Branson's second island. There's only 9 houses on there. Every one of these houses is 40, 50, 100 million plus homes on this island. It's almost like it's like the who's who of entrepreneur world that has houses here. It's mind blowing. John said this one time. He's like, it was kind of just casually talking. And he's like, here's some things that every entrepreneur does wrong when they do exit. Number one, they get in real estate projects. Number two, they don't give themselves permission to relax and just enjoy and take time off. Number three, they start investing in a bunch of companies, and we all start making these mistakes, thinking we can always jump back into these companies and just magically, because we're successful once, we can do it again, even though it took us 25 years to become successful, right? And something usually, or 15 years or 10 years. It's usually a really long road. And he said this, he's like, give yourself, number one, permission to take off after you exit. Number two, give yourself, permission not to jump into any crazy real estate things. Number three, he's like, don't start any new companies. And I was like, wow, I wish someone had told me this years ago, because I felt like it was my obligation, or I had to go back to work, or I had to start more companies. And I made the mistake of investing in a lot of companies. And some are doing okay, and some are just disasters because I was not the driving force in it. And a lot of other entrepreneurs that look good, smell good, but they haven't done repetitive success, you start realizing, oh, these guys are not going to make it. And a lot of entrepreneurs think they're so brilliant and their ego holds them back from their growth. So if you're not growing at 10, 15, 20, 50, 100% a year, I would say the number one thing holding an entrepreneur back is their ego. They're not listening. They're not learning. They're being held back by their own, I'm better, I'm smarter, I'm more intelligent. That's why, like I was telling you, like I sign up for all these entrepreneur groups. I get feedback from all kinds of people. I've even gotten an ex um, Marine recon, and he did Ranger school too. And then he did all these other branches. He was a sniper. I got him giving me feedback on a weekly basis right now on just other aspects he's seeing in me as a man. I signed up for this coach for this, just being a better husband, right? So when you get all this feedback, you're able to start getting clearer. And this is why we built this brand called Founders, because no one's teaching you how to prep for exit, how to truly exit well, and how to reentry well. And until you learn these things, you will not know because you just don't know. So that's kind of what, Brent, I've been kind
Yeah,
of thinking
that's
about in
super
that
interesting.
space.
That's super interesting. I agree with you on a lot of those points that I think EO doesn't necessarily equip you for some of that. And also, I do agree too that a lot of entrepreneurs at some point in their, and maybe when they're as old as me, they decide I can't learn anymore. What you're reflecting is that you need to be learning till you die. You should never say I can't learn, right? I think that's, even Warren Buffett would say that at 90 or whatever age, you need to continue to learn and continue to grow, and there's always something new on the horizon that you can learn, as no matter how old you are, right?
He would study 3 hours a day, right? It was his, like, I knew someone that worked in his house, randomly enough. Here's a crazy story. I moved and slept on my buddy's couch to start the first company in California. I slept on a couch for like, I don't know, 2 to 4 months. It was kind of get this company off the ground and trying to find a place to live. It was in Dana Point, California. Randomly, I picked a job up at waiting tables and bartending at the Laguna Cliffs Marriott there in Dana Point, California. So we catered, and my one of my bosses, we ended up doing this catering. We ended up working another restaurant called Troquet Restaurant. Troquet was like the fine dining place in South Coast Plaza. It was like the place, and the chef there was like the chef for a little bit of time. So we did all these catering jobs. So you also meet these other bartenders, waitresses. So one of my friends actually did catering a lot for him. And she said like literally you could see him there. Just she would like set things up, do the lunches or whatever, and he would be just sitting out there on his porch, and they had like a house there in like Emerald Coast right there, I think it's called, and he would just be reading for hours every day, and it was like, and he said it was really nice, but he was just really focused on reading and taking notes and journaling, and because she was smart, she was like I forget what she was studying in college at the time, but and she was like, she was amazed that like the guy that rich would be like working that hard every day and just his schedule is full all day long, and he would just sit there and read piles of stuff every day. It was mind blowing. So how are we leveling up to that 3 hours a day, right?
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned, the 40-hour work year. There's other entrepreneurs that would advocate for the 120-hour work week. How do you balance out that with what others are telling us? And I think of one prominent entrepreneur that runs an electric car company that says you need to work more. You're not working enough.
Well, I think he's leveraged himself to running three of the largest companies in the world. So he's scaling at a huge rate. I think a lot of us are staying in the same job and not growing. And I think the question is, how do we leverage ourselves to keep growing? The 40-hour work year is to run your one company, and you can get that down to 4 if you do it right. And it's just leverage. You're saying, how can I leverage myself more? I mean, Elon Musk is also in speaking at Davos last week, and he's also doing another person's podcast, and he's also figuring out another thing and launching another thing and getting the robot company. You know what I mean? It's like the thing keeps growing because he keeps leveraging himself massively more and more. So I think you got to figure out, number one, what do you want and why do you want it? Where do you want to go with your life? What do you want to accomplish with your life? What is your dream? Because then it doesn't matter, right? Because it's like what I'm choosing for my life is going to be different from what you're choosing. My brother Zach, what my daughter wants, what my son wants, what my wife wants. Like everybody wants something different. Like
Hmm.
my mom wants a totally different life. Like my mom's super happy having what my daughter calls an old school Christmas tree, and she loves it. My mom loves like the red and green and blue and yellow lights on the Christmas tree and all the old family pictures and stuff. Everybody wants something different. And I think the hardest thing for anybody, any human, is decide, what do I want? Why do I want it? And what am I willing to do to go get it? And I think that's where you need to be real, raw, and relevant with yourself to say, to get clear on like, what is my life purpose? And then do whatever it takes to discover that and work on that. And I think happiness is a byproduct of living in your purpose. Happiness is the byproduct of pursuing your purpose, because the joy is really on the building side. The joy is the joy is actually going to that place. Like, that's where all the joy is. Once you get the goal, it's great. It lasts for a couple minutes. You get a big check, you sell a company, you hit something, you hit a big milestone, but then afterward, there's nothing. So if you're on a path continuously, it's your path. Some people love to go travel the world and just sit on beaches. Some people love to go surf the world. Some people love to go see all the ancient ruins around the world. I think it's really finding what you want and then figure out how do we support you in getting that. Now, if you're an entrepreneur that wants to scale, if you want to exit and you want to exit with millions or tens of millions, you're going to have to learn real quickly how to leverage yourself and turn those 120-hour work weeks in your company to, 40-hour work weeks to 20 to 10. Your company's worth 2 to 3x more with you not involved than you showing up. See, because you have leverage. If you're showing up one day a year, someone wants that machine. If that machine you're showing up one day a year is kicking you off millions, that double or triple X's your valuation. And that way, one day someone will buy your company. Otherwise, you're just having a travel backpack, laptop lifestyle. Make the millions. Make sure you're set up tax wise. Make sure you're maximizing your tax. Make sure you're maximizing putting money away in long term investments, because you're not going to be able to sell that thing one day. There's so many people that call us that will never sell their companies because they're the bottleneck. they're the reason our company got there, and they're the reason our company's not growing, and they're the reason our company will not sell.
Yeah, let me ask it in a different way then. In EO, in our forum where we do personal, family, and business, right? And in kind of what is our when we do our deep dive, a lot of business people take that 120-hour work week and they say I'm going to work 120 hours, and they give up their personal and their business or their family. I mean, that's 120 hours in business. I think what I hear you saying is Elon Musk is building out more than just his family or more than just his business. He's spending time with his family. He's doing something physical or whatever, right? I think that's what that's what I hear you
Well,
saying.
he's
And just clarify.
superhuman, and he's also building. Yeah, he's doing it all. Keep
Uh-huh.
going,
I mean,
right?
I'm just saying, and what I hear you saying is you should be happy. I might be happy if I could just run 12 hours a day and not work, right? That would make me happy. My body could take it. A lot of people would say, no, that's kind of overdoing it, right? So maybe there's a comparison in there.
I mean, this is where get with somebody that can help create clarity in your life. Like, and you get to architect. This is where you become the architect of your life. And I think people talk about this, but this is where EO helps a lot, right? Map out how many hours do you want to spend with your wife? How many hours do you want to do a date night once a week? Do you want to plan it out? You're the boss, you do it. Even if you have no resources, I mean, most spouses are probably happy to just go have some time to connect and talk and sit and have a coffee somewhere. Is doesn't have to be expensive, it doesn't have to be crazy dates. It can be walking to a park or something, and start mapping it out. What do I want to do for my health? What do I want to do? And then bake that into your schedule. What do I want to do for my spirituality? What do I want to do for my reading, my intelligence, right? How do I start baking this into my schedule? And then it becomes part of your like, what do I focus on my body every day? Body first, right? Body first, body first, body first. You said 12 hours of running. Well, that may serve you. I don't know, right? The way your body's built. Maybe it does destruct your body, but everyone's different. So we figure out what the body first is for you, then being, what's your spirituality, what's your journaling, how are you connecting with God or source or whatever you want to call it? How are you connecting with yourself, right? How are you doing your meditation practice, baking that into your schedule? Body being the balance. How am I writing my love notes to my wife, my kids, my friends, even gratitude? How do I send gratitude to my friends? Say, man, I love you, man. So proud of you, bro. Man, I can't believe you guys accomplished that. And make sure every day you're sending encouragement. Like I sent this one guy, he's got this founders club, these young guys, and they're doing great work. And I was like, man, I'm so proud of you guys, man. More entrepreneurs need what you're doing. Keep going. Why? Because all of us entrepreneurs need more. We need there's only 5% of us really doing entrepreneurship out there and producing new stuff. That's what EO is. We produce new stuff. Entrepreneurs produce new things. We get new things going. We need more people supporting the entrepreneur community and the person and the entrepreneur and their families so they excel. They don't crash. They don't die. They don't commit suicide. They don't go bankrupt. They don't get depressed. They don't give up the journey. They're the innovators, right? So body, being, balance, and then business. What are you studying in books every day? How do you force yourself to read more, listen more, whatever you digest information. Like I have to do a lot auditorially because I got a TBI, a brain injury from when I was like 5 years old. Like I've got like almost 94% brain injury out of 100 index on the TBI. So I have to close my eyes or move my eyes a certain direction to think about a fact and then sometimes close my eyes. So I'm really giving you the right information, right? When you ask a question. So that's why I have to learn to work with myself. I can't sit and read hundreds of books like some of my friends. When I read books, it takes me a lot longer to read than my friends do, right? So if I can listen to books or memorize the book, right? So I do a lot of audiobooks. I sit on planes, I go for walks, I listen to audiobooks. I go to bed,. I listen to audiobooks. Then I'm trying to devour every aspect and you find what you're passionate about too. Like one thing I want entrepreneurs to do is trust your instinct, trust your intuition. Like it's going to guide you to where you need to go a lot of times, right? So listen to like what your heart really wants to go do and learn. You don't know why it works, just trust it. Go there. Like go do the thing. You never know what's going to transpire from it. It's going to give you energy. And energy is the number one thing we need as entrepreneurs to keep up the fight, to keep going, to keep serve all these people around us, to give at the highest level, to make a ton of money so we can give it all away before we die in an effective way, better than the government can, right? So one of our goals at Founders is to help you make millions upon millions upon millions of dollars so you can go give that away and impact other people. See, the number one thing we find with entrepreneurs, 95% of them all have a very massive giving heart. And if you want to change society, help entrepreneurs have more money, have more resources, and have more time so they can go impact society. That's where real change happens. So keep going, Brent.
No, that's awesome. And I'm going to just pin in on what you said earlier about energy and how important energy is in that mix, and making sure that you have energy as an entrepreneur, because I think that's the magic that makes you go forward. We have a few minutes left, but one last question. How do you get somebody to focus on the thing they should be focusing on the time that they should, if you're doing 40 things in a day? Like, you can't do all 40 at the exact same time. How do you choose your priority for the day?
I think this is where it goes back to the old, I think Stephen Covey put it in the book First Things First. It's a great book for anyone to read. There's a pastor of a church in northern Washington, in Washington State. And I was there selling my t-shirts, and I had hats, t-shirts, stickers, whole little business I started when I was 18, selling these product lines, Christian wear, skate wear, surf wear. And I met this guy, his name was Casey Treat. The only thing he actually taught in his own Bible college was this book, First Things First. And I was like, why? He goes, if any human learns this book, they'll be successful. I was like, huh, interesting. So the premise, everyone knows this, is put the big rocks in, right? So we got the big, 2025 calendar, big 2026 calendar on the wall. I travel with the big ass calendar book, and I put my whole big thing in there. I got 2026 and some 2027 stuff now on there, right? And so real quick, the premise is the big rocks in the calendar. So right now I put all the events. I put in there where we're going to go travel, make sure that we're clear on where we're going for Christmas next year. So we're trying to get in there, and then you start baking in what else I want to accomplish this year. Like, you do this long running thing. Last year in 2025, I swam around Key West. It was a 12.5 mile swim. I had to put in their training. So I had to go back and like put my training schedule in there, right? This year I want to basically stay on the island because my daughter is her 10th grade year. She's joining for student council, right? So that's where you got to bake all this stuff in your calendar. And then you start running the yearly planning, which is doing that. Then you run the quarterly planning, what's happening in the next 90 days, and refine that process. Put more flight information, more workouts on the calendar. Make sure you're booking everything, right? And then you go drop it down into the next level, and you're going for your weekly meetings. So you really want to make sure you have roadmaps mapped out. Like, you're using project management tools. You're leveraging teams too, right? Like, I can't do it. Like, we have one company I'm on the board of. There's the ex-CFO, and there's another guy that's kind of like this chief operating officer, and there's another guy that's actually the CEO. I'm kind of communicating with all three, but I don't have time to look at stuff. I have to jump into meetings, hear what I can do, talk to attorneys, make sure I'm voting the right way for the board stuff, right? So I can't do all the things. I can go raise capital for four of the companies, but I can only do that when I run across a person and say, hey guys, I think this investment might be. The trucking company has great returns. The India company has great returns. The trading platform, which one do you feel? And here's your risk factors. What do you want? What are you interested in? Right. And so I can only leverage my connections. When I meet with somebody, I try to leverage that. I try to leverage my connections to bring the right person at the right time into that company. I'm not the genius. I just got to work my network, my skill set. Right. So I think it's leveraging yourself and being clear. And this is the hard part. You've got to get clear somehow. You got to be clear. What do I want? Why do I want it? And how can I help this thing? And it's hard. Every level you go up, like right now, it's difficult to do this again. You're always rescaling yourself, which is really hard. So
Yeah, that's
did that
awesome,
help, Brent?
Troy. That's great. Thank you very much. Troy, we have a few minutes left as I close out the
Okay.
podcast. I give everybody a chance to do a shameless plug about anything they'd like. What would you like to plug today?
So I'm going to plug Founders. This is my give back to society. I got to exit the company really well. I've got some other things going. This is the one I'm pouring millions in because I wanted to build something, a place where people that are like EOers, like you and I, and YPOers and other entrepreneurs, that they have a good place to go where people actually care, number one, and they know how to help people scale legitimately in all aspects, not just in one aspect or another aspect, like in all aspects of scaling and taking care of yourself, taking care of your business, and then scaling so you can prepare for a sale one day. A lot of people on this thing are going to go to have to sell their business one day. We're all exiting. We're all going to heaven one day, or wherever people say they go. We're all going to die one day. So we're all going to exit. Why don't you be prepared or exit. Make sure your business is ready to sell. Make sure your estate plan, your tax plan, everything's in alignment. This is what we do at Founders. We really help people get clear on where they're at, give them the information and education. And we call it execution, not just education, because they need to be executed and executed so you can sell your business, right? So you can live in the promised land after you sell, and make sure you don't screw it up. Because if you just go to a business broker or an M&A firm, they're just going to sell your company. They don't talk to you. They talk to your attorney and CPA. What you need is to be prepared and have a good think about how much knowledge and energy you took to make all the money you've made, and write down on that sheet of paper how much money that is. If you're making $250,000 a year over the last 20 years, right? And that's like your money. Let's say it's even $500,000 over the last 10. Okay, that's $5 million. And let's say it's over 20, that's 10 million. When we're about to sell your business for 10 or 20 million, you only spend a couple of hours on it. You're going to get screwed. You haven't got the education. You don't understand the terms of the deal. You don't understand how to make sure your business looks good to a buyer. You don't understand what type of options you have, how to start preparing it. And that's what we're really doing. And then you're not even spending any time in the right tax and estate planning. And the ones that are missing out are your family, the charities you care about, and who wins? The government. Like, we know that you as an entrepreneur are going to do better with those resources than they will. You're going to be more faithful with that money. Your money, here's the number one thing that givers care about right now. We work with one of the largest DAFs in the world, right? Called Signatory. When they just did a thing, what givers care about most with their dollars is the impact. They want to see the impact. They want to touch the impact. They want to taste it, feel it. They want to know that their money's going to impact. You're going to be in control of those dollars if we show you how. You're going to have so much impact with that money that you're going to help change society. And that's what we care about at Founders. So
that's awesome. That's a
if
great.
we can help anybody in any way, let us know, man.
Yeah, that's perfect. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Thanks for that, Troy. Troy Hoffman is a serial entrepreneur and is a great guest. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you, Brent. Have a great day. I can't tell you what the song